To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you along. Helping you to make it through another day. Everything you need to know that you never knew.
Hey, would you please stop?
Lockhart Perspective.
Well. Okay, here we go. Here we are. I made it just in time. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have actually seen this. Let me pull this a little close to me. But I want to first of all say shout out to Anton Daniels, who seems to always have some really good topics lately. I mean, normally he does have good topics, but just recently he had this topic. I think it was like early this morning. And I had another topic that I was going to talk about. You know how sometimes people say, well, are you big boned or is you just big? You know, do they have a weight problem or can they just not wait to eat? I mean, which is it, right? But then I thought about it and I saw his topic and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I've got to borrow this. And so that's where we are right now. We are using his topic, and I absolutely love it because when I looked at this today, I thought you have got to be kidding. Hello, Oz. Hello, Melinda. Mars Fool's Gold and Zeb Johnson were here earlier on. But listen, have you guys heard about this pastor out in Missouri who actually berated his parishioners because he wanted a Movado watch? So he gives them what for? Can you believe it? So we're going to get into the story. And we're going to look at it because, he ended up apologizing. And we're also going to look at Mr. Brian Stelter. As you guys may or may not already know, he's set to be leaving CNN. Yeah, he had reliable sources. Reliable sources is Mark. What's his face does him all the time. I think it's at Mark Dice. Yeah, he gets him like that. Hey, so that's what we're looking at today. Let's go ahead and see. Let me see if I can pull it up here. All right, there it is. Is this it? Yes. So let's just read it. It says, make sure you guys can see it. Make sure I make it big for you. Hold on just a second. All righty. There you go. There you are, Missouri. That's for you. Double checking it, making sure. All right. Make it get bigger too. Because you guys, sometimes you like to read along. All right, let's fill it up there. All right, so a Missouri pastor apologizes after berating, quote, cheap congregation for not buying him a designer watch. Carlton Funderburk is a senior pastor who acted like a minor at a church at the Well in Kansas City, Missouri. At the church at the Well. Church at the Well, that's the name of the church. And again, shout out to Anton Daniels because this topic is a fire topic. I really think it is. A Missouri pastor has apologized for a viral video during a sermon earlier this month that showed him scolding his congregation, telling them that they were poor and cheap for not buying him a luxury watch. Carlton Funderburk, who probably beat his people into submission and made them vote for the cat that's in right now. But anyway, I will just go ahead and digress. The senior pastor at church at the Well in Kansas City apologized Tuesday in a Facebook video for what he called the inexcusable remarks that he made on August the 7th in a sermon. Quote, though there was context behind the content of the clip, no contents will suffice to explain the hurt and the anguish that's caused by my words, but I still want my watch. He doesn't say that. He said, Quote, I've spoken to those that I am accountable to and have received their correction and instruction. And I've also privately apologized to our church. Well, why didn't you do it publicly? Who has extended their love and support to me? They still ain't got me that watch. The viral clip that circulated online shows Funderburk scolding the churchgoers for not honoring him with a Movado watch that he claimed that he asked for. Now, this story here, I'm going to clip this story here too, because I want us to look at this one right here. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but it's a pastor who had $1 million stolen from him in a live stream. I hope you guys brought your snacks because I got mine today. Had my food earlier, but I'm eating my snacks right now. Now, quote, this is how I know that you are still broke. That's what they pastor told them. This man is a mess. He said, this is how I know that y'all still broke, busted, and disgusted because of how you've been honoring me. I'm not worth your McDonald's money. I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John knits. Y'all can't afford that no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. And I ain't worth your Prada. I'm not worth your Gucci, he said in the video clip. He goes on to call his congregation cheap for not getting him the watch that he says that they can buy at a Sam's Club. And y'all know, I asked for that one last year. Here it is, all the way in August, and I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't said nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters. The clip ends with the pastor saying, y'all hear from your pastor and father. I'm over y'all. I'm over y'all cheap expressions, close quote. The apology video, Funderburk said that his actions and words were inexcusable and that he deeply regrets the moment. This is what he really, really, really deeply regrets. He deeply regrets the fact that it was caught on camera. That's what he deeply that's what he really, really is upset about. That's what he's upset about. That's what he's upset about. This is the messery right here. This is the messery right here. There is no honoring of you. Period, sir. Listen, Ronnie broke it down the other night. The honor goes to mama and daddy. The honor don't go to you. The honor don't go to Pastor Nim. The honor don't go to none of that. That's not how any of this works. None of it. The honor goes to mama and daddy. Yeah. So let's take a glance at this cat. I'm gonna pull up this right here because this is him. This is him cutting up. This is him cutting up right here. Let's just check out this Twitter feed and let's just see what he's got going on, shall we? We're gonna make it big. Let's just listen to this guy.
Because of how you've been honoring me.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I take it off of this speaker so that you guys can hear it there. And I hope that you could hear it. Let me put the Rode speakers. I'm going to come back out and start it over. You know why? Because I want to make sure you can really hear it. I don't know what this stuff is. I've been getting really weird calls lately. Really weird calls. Really spooky calls. Okay? But this guy right here is the one. Here we are. There you go. Okay, so here he is. Here he is. He's letting people know he really needs your money. Do you see how far into the sunken place the church has literally gone? Let's get it together here. Let's hear it.
I'm not worth your McDonald's money. Come on. See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted because of how you've been honoring me. I'm not worth your McDonald's money. Come on. I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John knit. Y'all can't afford it no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. Come on. I ain't worth your product. I'm not worth your Gucci. You can buy a Movado watch in Sam's.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters. I don't want to hear no more excuses about what y'all can't afford. You can't afford it because you don't see the value here. Y'all hear from y'all pastor and father, I'm over y'all. I'm over your cheap expressions.
Oh boy. Just let the vision, just let the whole visual of it all. Let the whole visual of it all just sit right there for a second. Can you believe that, Negro? K-N-E-E-G-R-O-W. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a K-N-E-E-G-R-O-W. If you want to know what they look like, that was one of them. And I said it. Hey, he's one. Can you believe what he just sat there and said? Joey Trujillo called it disgusting. I used to buy the $2 watches at the grocery checkout. Worked for me, LOL. Exactly. Melinda says this pastor needs to be taking care of his congregation, especially the widows and the orphans. I think I read that somewhere. That's right. Why the preacher got drive a brand new cardiac. Oh, Lord of mercy. Right? Why a preacher got to drive a new cardiac? I think you try to say Cadillac, but the cardiac is much better. It's funnier, actually. But do you see this? Isn't that funny? That's a good one. But this is the type of stuff that's going on. No, cardiac was better. I like cardiac. Don't correct it, Babe King. Go back to cardiac. I like the cardiac best. But this is the type of stuff that's going on right now, and this is what's left. Remember the other night, when was it that I said, if you look and see what's left in the inside of the church? I think that was the other night when we were on with Ronnie. If I said, if you go into the church right now and you just peer in and you see what's left in the four walls that we used to call church, that is what's left. And there were other things. Now, he has two of the things that I believe is what's left in the church. He's got two of the things. He's a bit, bit colorful. All right. And then on top of that, he's a hot rump mess, begging people for stuff. Listen, right now, you need to be ashamed if you even still have a church with four walls. Right now, you need to take the people that used to come into the church with the four walls, and all of y'all need to pack yourself a lunch and put it in your backpack. And you need to head out to some of the local parks. If you have a church that has four walls, this is what you need to be doing. And you need to go out and you need to minister to the people. You need to pass them those sandwiches. You need to talk to them. You need to give them some encouragement, even if you don't got no place for them to live or to stay, because people need encouragement today. People need love today. People need help today. All of that stuff you're talking about, my brother, is nothing. That's trash. You want something that is going to rot, something that is going to rust. You want all of the above. You want all of that. And yet, you're getting on people because they can't give you that. Melinda says, those kind of pastors come in all sizes and colors, shameful and disgusting. Absolutely. But I'm used to seeing this. This is what I'm used to hearing in churches. And this right here is what I am used to seeing. I am used to seeing pastors cut up like that. I am used to hearing them bully people into give. I am used to hearing it. And I'm used to seeing it. That right there, that ain't nothing but a day at the church. We do need love, Maureen. But you understand, this is the stuff that is going on right now. Now, there was another church situation, as we look at the whole churchianity piece of it all. And I'm not sure if you guys saw this or not. That's a pretty good snack. Let me show you something. It was a pastor who allegedly, because it looked a little bit on the planned side for me. I'm going to let you see this. And then we're going to talk about good old Brian Stelter. Okay. Oh, here's a story. Let's see what he had to say. Is this a video for him? I hope so. Is this a video? Where he was apologizing? I'm so sorry. What is this? Somebody's giving who strength? I doubt that's him. This is it? Is this it? Let's see. Probably not. Probably something else that they're giving us. I'm going to keep looking. A Missouri pastor has apologized. See, it just keeps taking me back and back and back and back and back.
Where we've been, what we've seen. No, we can't give up on the dream.
I don't know what that was, but those harmonies were on point. I don't know what commercial that was, but baby, when I tell you those harmonies was on hit, make you want to sing with a choir again. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Yes, that did. What I'm looking for right now is the story of the pastor. Is this it right here? I think this is it. NYPD video of suspects in Brooklyn pastor robbery. Is this the one where they had the pastor that had received the stolen, who had been somebody had stolen some stuff from him? Hold on, let me show you guys this one right here, where they literally walked into the church. Fifi, then you ain't ever been to an Oldstein service. Hold on, y'all. Let's get this. I want you guys to see this. Okay, let's see. Is this the one? I hope so. I hope this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. All right, here we go. Let's skip the ads. This is the pastor. Is this the one where they said he got robbed? I think that this was planned. That's how I saw it. That's what I thought. I thought it was sort of planned. Sunday the 22nd. But are they going to show us the one where the guys go inside the church and steal it? I guess they're not. Did you guys see that? Let me see. I don't want to try to find it wherever it is when it's a video from YouTube, because those become a little unique and you can't always show them, and you got to worry about somebody who took them from somebody else who wants you to believe that, well, you don't have a right to talk about this because, well, even though we swiped it from somebody else and put a little border around it, now you're going to try to use it and we don't want you to do that. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is right here. So the video shows the bishop say, all right, all right, all right, as he is crouching to his hands and knees and then to the ground. The masked men then pass the front of the camera. This is where the pastor here, I guess the bishop, was robbed for $1 million worth of jewelry. I wonder if they're going to allow this to be seen here. Hold on. Hopefully. Yeah, another commercial. So there was a pastor that was in New York. He's a bishop, and they actually broke into the church, the people that you saw just walking in a few minutes ago. What ended up happening was they went inside the church, and when they went inside the church, they stole this gentleman's jewelry, all of the jewelry. And that's how it happened. So I just thought that, that was terrible, but I just don't believe it. It just doesn't seem to be real to me. What it appeared to me to be was a insurance scam, because you had on $1 million worth of jewelry, player, at the church, at the storefront church. You had on $1 million, just so convenient. You done put on every piece of jewelry you done got ever since you was a little bitty baby, and they bought you that little bitty cross that you could look in and see the 10 Commandments in it. You could read that little, every piece of jewelry you ever had, my brother. Every piece of jewelry, not jewelry, jewelry. Every piece of jewelry. Yeah, here it is. The police said that the suspects stole jewelry from Whitehead and his 38-year-old wife. The stolen goods were valued at over $1 million, police said, and reportedly included a Rolex watch. Okay. Whitehead announced on Monday morning that he was offering a reward of up to $50,000 in cash for the arrest of the armed men. The bishop recalled the events in a video that was posted on Facebook, in which he described how one of the suspects put the gun to my back and had the gun in my 8-month-old's face, he says. Quote, they took my watch. Well, maybe this guy was, maybe he had somebody go out and get your watch. I don't know. He says, they took my watch, they took my jewelry, they took my bishop's ring, they took my wedding band, they took my bishop's cross, and then I had change underneath my shirt, he said. Whitehead went on to describe how he knew the suspects were sent, and the gunman who robbed him ripped away my collar off just to get my jewelry. They pointed at me. They said, it's him right there. He said the family said it was okay and thanked the public. We're okay. Thank you for your concerns. Whitehead noted his belief that the robbery could have been spurred in part by bad press in the aftermath of his decision to help Andrew Abdullah, 25. Abdullah was arrested in connection with the death of Daniel Enriquez, a 48-year-old Goldman Sachs employee. Abdullah allegedly randomly shot Enriquez in an unprovoked attack aside a moving Q train on May 22nd. He was charged with second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon and pleaded not guilty. The bishop also slammed those who thought that he was flashy as he spoke about critics who were going to be glad because they feel that it's flashy. They show this, they show that, he said on a video, and that's all right. But I thank God for blessing me, he says. There he is. Just so happens that you got the big old, this stuff is ridiculous. What's left of the church is nothing. That is the church. All that you see right there, that is the church. That's the church. They need to close their doors. Whatever's left, whoever's left, close your doors, and you need to get out into the four corners. You need to take all that stuff you got, sell it, and you need to go help the people that are poor right now in your community. How dare you have a brick and mortar building in a community where you've got people that cannot afford to live anymore, and you're beating up people, the other pastor, not this one, but you're beating up people simply because they refuse to give you any money for you to go, as you just admittedly said, to Sam's Club to purchase a Movado watch. That's the other guy, not this one, so that we don't cross, the hairs here. So I'm not splitting hairs. Police later provided photos of each of the three suspects and a video of the trio crossing the street toward the building one by one. So that tells me that you already know, brother, something ain't right with your story. The suspects left the building on foot, and they're believed to have popped into a white Mercedes-Benz, which then headed eastbound on Avenue D, the police said. That's what it says, on Avenue D. So now the police are asking anyone with information to help and to call the NYPD's Crime Stoppers. Yeah, well, I guess I can't call you if I got a hunch of who just might be the perpetrator behind this said theft. It won't help you, will it? It won't help you. A Rolls Royce. Wow, Bishop, you really need a Rolls Royce? I think I've just about had it with these folks. I've just about had it with them. I think insurance fraud is most assuredly what he's doing. Rage Against the Machine. Okay? Okay? Laura says that's hilarious. Can you believe these people, though? You see? You see that? Look what Melinda says. This is heartbreaking. She says, when my mama died, the pastor couldn't come over fast enough to collect her monthly tithes. And that was the last time I saw him. So do you see what is being revealed now? This is what is being revealed, and that is the reason why your positioning is so vital. Because you are the body, and the body is all that matters. It's not these guys. It's not the pastor from the last story that we just got through seeing. It's not these guys. You guys show love. You guys show compassion. You guys show your tender hearts to people. You guys love individuals. You guys are who matter in your community. You are the only representation of Yah, of our Father, that your community, that your neighborhood will ever see. If people are looking to individuals like this guy and the other guy, all right, as well as several others, then we're totally, totally in the wrong place at the wrong time. We're at the wrong place at the wrong time if we are at these folks, if we're at their whim. You guys in your neighborhoods, when you smile at somebody, when you help somebody who doesn't have, when you love on somebody, when you treat your neighbor kindly, you represent the Father, not these lies, not these liars. So kudos to Joy Trujillo. Kudos to Laura. Kudos to Rage Against the Machine and Melinda. Kudos to you. Maureen Olson, kudos to you. Vape King, you know it. Kudos to you and Maureen Olson. We name all of you and those who are on the replay to include as well. Here, look, Deb Woods is here today. These are the People Scan family. Mars Fool's Gold, Zeb Johnson, Oz. You guys are the great representation of Christ. All right? You are. But this right here, this has nothing to do with the love of our Father. I don't believe this man's story. I don't believe that he is a victim. I believe that he is a part of the issue. And I do believe, and this is just me saying it, I'm just me. This is just me. I don't have any proof of it. I just truly and honestly don't believe his story. How convenient it is that you happen to have on $1 million worth of jewelry in a church. Doesn't, just because I've never heard of the church doesn't mean anything. But I mean, you know, I'm sure it was insured. Okay, it's all right, Deb. We love you, baby. But this is the difference. This is the reason why this is no longer needed. They are, you know what? I'll tell you, the one thing that the last 2 years did show, it should have showed a lot of people, is that you do not need this inner circle church or this type of church anymore to do anything. You see what happened the last 2 years, put everybody in a situation where they were very, very desperate. A lot of churches weren't receiving any money. A lot of pastors weren't receiving any income. And what ended up happening is it just showed the truth about who was real and who wasn't. That's what it did. It showed the truth about who was real and who wasn't. And I really honestly feel like that is just a hot rump mess where you can literally say, hey, I had $1 million worth of jewelry on and somebody came into church and stole it. I've got $50,000. You have a surplus of 50 grand. And that surplus of 50 grand is what you're going to use to say, hey, whoever knows about this, please, please, please turn the person in. We'll give you 50,000. The fact that you even have that is sad. That's sad. The fact that you even have that much to do this with, that's sad. So now we've got the pastor telling everybody that you ain't nothing because you did not buy me that Movado that I just saw over at Sam's. Or how did he say it? Somebody said you can get it. That somebody and you both need to have your heads examined. That's not cool. And I don't like it because I know for me, I have seen Black pastors conduct themselves this way. I have watched it and it has made me sick. And I've ended up getting told off because I'll let their butts have it and keep it pushing. The stuff that I say I don't agree with. And y'all know that I cuss. Y'all already know I'm going to let them have it. And I have. But I don't care. They can say whatever they want to say about me. At least I'm coming off the cuff and I'm letting you know up front, I'm about to get you. You're not supposed to treat the people this way. You are not supposed to treat the people this way. You can take that money, just like Maureen said, and you can donate it to the homeless, or you can give it to the people that need food. You know what you can do? You can make yourself a committee of one and a Pied Piper. You can get yourself 10 people that will follow you to the grocery store. Go to the grocery store and buy some food. You know what? Not everybody likes Vienna weenies, but you at least know they got a backpack full of some food. Give them some Vienna weenies and some crackers, box juices. Okay? Give them some things. Give them a few dollars. Sometimes folks like a cigarette. Give them $5, $10. Let them go get a cigarette if they want a cigarette, for the love of Pete. Some folk like to drink. Give them a beer. Give them the money. Let them go do whatever it is they're going to do, so that they think they can stop losing their mind, because they not you and they not me. I'm being very honest here. Do not try to guess what people are going to do with it. Some folks are honest. Some old men be like, look, I just need a drink. And you know what? I gave a man $5 one day, because he said, I just want a beer. And I said, you know what, man? You was honest, right? Here's your $5. At least he ain't going upside somebody's head for that $5, or going there, beat somebody up at the store to get him a liquor, to get him a beer. Sometimes you just got to sit down on the side of the road and just say, oh, gee whiz, what am I going to do next? They may not be eloquent like you in speech and prayer. They may not got all that. Don't judge folks. Give to the people that you are led to give to, and let them folks do what they're going to do with the money. What was important was where your heart was. I said this. A lot of folk ain't going to tell you that, but I'm telling you that. Okay? Take it and give the money, and don't worry about what the folks going to do with it. Don't worry about what them folks going to do with that money. You take it and you give it to them. But I tell you, that one cat had that sign one day and said, I just want a beer. I said, here goes the $5, my friend. At least you was real. But that's the problem right now, is that people are constantly judging what other folks should do. All right? And then you got pimps like this. That's a straight up pimp. That's a hustler. That's a pimp. That's a 5 and dime hustler. That's a snake oil salesman. That's exactly what they are. And that's the sad part. And that's what I meant the other night when I said, when you go into the church right now and you look and you see what's left in those four walls, what's left is a bunch of transformers and pimps. Transformers and pimps. Robots in disguise. Yep, that's exactly what's in there right now. And so this guy, $1 million, to the tune of $1 million, ladies and gentlemen, this cat was taken to the tune of $1 million. His name is Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, founder of the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries in Brooklyn, New York. The suspects fled the building on foot, and they believed to have hopped into a white Mercedes-Benz. Don't this sound like somebody he know? That's what it sounds like. And then the police later provided the photos. Let me see about the photos. No photos. No photos. No photos. But that's terrible. So this cat here, oh yeah, sure, he's a ninja. There's a ninja. Photo shows one of the 3 suspects involved in the robbery of more than $1 million worth of jewelry on Sunday, July 24th, 2022. Sure. There's another one. Very nice outfits, by the way. This is a North Face jacket, isn't that? Huh. So we don't have any way? Look at this guy. Who walks around like this? He reminds me of Overgold. There was a show a long time ago. I forgot the name of it, but just look at that. He looks like Overgold, and I forgot the name of the guy. Maybe this is why the IRS got more employees. Nah, baby girl. Hey, R. Jones, how you doing? Both you and Anarchy Television. Nah, I'm going to tell you who they came for. I'm gonna tell you who came for. They came for all of them folks that they passed out all of that money. Oh, God help us today. All of them people. Oh, my. All of those people who got PPP loans, they're coming after those folks. The biggest setup of entrapment that they have ever executed in the United States. People keep saying that they're bringing these people for this or for that. No, ma'am, no, sir. They're getting them folks from the inner city who went out there and got all of that PPP money when did nobody say nothing, and they let them do it. That's who that's for. That's who that's for. That's who those IRS agents, among other things, but they ain't gonna mess with nobody that look like them. They're not going after the rich. Nah. They're going after the people who was trying to come up, that didn't know no better, that thought that they could get something for nothing. That's who they're going after. R. Jones says, my sweet preacher granddaddy would never accept church money. He often said it was not right for a preacher to ever have more than his poorest congregation member. Amen. You see that? You see that? Stimulus also. Yep. So that's what that's all about. That's what that money is for. That's why they've hired all those folks. But I have been so hoping that every evil thing that they have attempted to do to regular man is just going to backfire on each and every one of them, because I dislike meanness, and I dislike sinfulness, and just, I don't mind people just being real. Like I mentioned about the cat that might need the drink. I ain't got a problem with that dude wanting a beer. Not an issue at all. What I don't like is evil, wicked people who set up people, evil, wicked people who will set up somebody and then point them out after they do it. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't like that kind of stuff at all. And I don't like the fact that now they're going to try to get back all the money that they gave out, you dirty dogs. You guys turned right around there and did this trash to these poor, ignorant people, dodos that did not think about it. Not to mention the fact that if you guys really say you want to go after somebody, then go after the major companies that did not need the stimulus, or that did not even need to go out here and get these PPP loans. And you guys gave them the money anyway. How about starting there? But I really don't want to hear anything about them starting anywhere, because they can't even clean their own backyard up. They can't even clean up their own porch. Leave people alone. That's what y'all need to do. But I don't think you will, because you don't know how. You're all Karens. Yep. You're Karens. IRS, anyone not siding with their new world. Okay. Oh, they exact their revenge on everybody. On everybody. My daddy often gave his medical training and brought the medicine for the patients that needed it. Even still made house calls in the 80s. He said his calling was helping people, not getting rich. Hallelujah. Those are the good people. Those are the good old days, right? It was our money to begin with, Anarchy says. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Of course it was. Of course it was. But then you got people that are just like this cat on the screen that had money prior to it. They went out and got some of that money too. But they're not going to get it. Why? Because that's their type of folks. They leave these kinds of folks alone. I mean, he might get it, he might not get it, but for sure, mm-mm. This is a whole mess, man. Yikes. If there ever could be a time where we could do a time leap, I would like to leap straight past all this crap and all of us still be here. And all these guys are gone. Yep. Then we could hear all kind of nice 80s music in the background. What is this? Preaching in a church in South Carolina is disgusting also. Wow. Yikes. That can only be creepy. Look at all the thumbs down Rage Against the Machine gave it. Oh boy. But can you believe this is the kind of stuff that's going on right now? This is sad. But this will go here. I'm gonna lay it out there. I predict you're gonna get. No, I'm not gonna sing the rest of that. Out in the rain and you're gonna get wet. Here's what I predict. I predict that there's going to be an even creepier situation going on in the church within the next couple of months, and we are just going to be we're just going to be unbelievably fit to be tied. We are going to be unbelievably fit to be tied. Let's get on Brian Stelter. Let's talk about good old Brian. Good old Brian. You know who I love to see make fun of him? And I wouldn't be surprised if he's already started. I wouldn't be shocked. Brian Stelter to leave CNN, reliable sources program is canceled. Is it just me? But look at this dude's eyeball. I don't know if it get bigger or not. Look at this one eye, and what's on his lip? What is that? What is that? I don't know. Is that petty? Am I being petty? Just a little petty? Am I? I don't think I'm being petty. I'm petty. Look at the eyeballs. Look at the head. He looks like he was used as a skateboard for a minute. Oh boy. Just a bit. He looks like it was used just a smidge. Oh yeah. You can get jewelry insurance, and I'm quite sure that that jewelry was definitely insured. Most assuredly, it was insured. You sure can. My wedding rings and all my jewelry is insured. Sure you can. Yep. If you get stuff over time throughout your life, you insure your furniture, you insure you know what I mean, your stuff at home. Right? He does, doesn't he, Maureen? Uncle Fester. He looks like Uncle Fester. All he needs is his shirt that's white to be turned into something black, and he can just scurry around. But let's get into little Brian Stelter. I love to hear Mark Dice say that. I love it when he does it. So I know tomorrow, if he's not already done this, he's going to be all over this. CNN personality Brian Stelter is leaving the network during an ongoing shakeup at the left-leaning cable news outlet, he confirmed on Thursday. CNN is also canceling Stelter's Sunday show, reliable sources. Stelter confirmed his exit in a statement to NPR, and he said that he would provide more details when the final episode of his show airs on Sunday. Quote, "It was a rare privilege to lead a weekly show focused on the press at a time when it has never been more consequential," Stelter said in a statement. Now it wants us to give a question here. Do you want to ask anything? There's 294 people. Do you want to make a post? No. Nope. The post reached out to CNN for a comment. And then it says, this is what happened. Nothing. There's nothing there. They said nothing. They gave no response. CNN Stelter admits Hunter Biden scandal. Not just a right-wing media story. Really? Well, let's just see what you have to say about that. Really? You feel that way? You do. Well, when did you start feeling that way, young man? What is all of this? When did you start feeling that way, young man? There it is, August the 8th. Did you guys know that he felt this way? I didn't know he felt this way. Get off the screen. Yes, this is why I do this. Because I just can't take it. That's the reason why I do that. Whoa. Woo. Woo. Let me let you see this guy. Whoa. I had to turn it over. It was getting a little hairy. I was getting a bit hairy. Woo. Look at that. Woo. What with the bowling ball and all. Woo. What is with this guy? Woo. Look at that. Look at the mouth now. Is he a real human? Could he be one of those bot things? Is that a bot? Is he real? He doesn't look real. There goes the eye again, though. There goes the eye. And there's the bowling ball. There's like a circumference in a circumference. It's like a circle in a circle. Look at this guy. Boy. Hooey. And whose grill is this? This mug is the mug of a rich man? Can you imagine this grill being the grill of a rich guy? Let me pop this up. Oh, I can't. It's already at 300. Can you see that? Is that the grill of a rich man? We name. Okay. All right. Okay. But can you imagine that being the grill? I mean, I have no dental insurance because this is what I do. So I could see, having a couple of teeth shifted left or right. But this guy? Does this guy have like the access to the best of the best? I would think. I would think. Would you say? So what's with his teeth? He has the teeth of, George Washington. He's got the nibblers of George Washington. I said it. I was trying to be nice. I'm really trying to clean up my act. I'm really, really trying to. Sometimes I just have to take it on the road. And that's exactly what I've done today. I'm taking it on the road and I'm asking a question. Is that the grill of a cat that has enough money to get his teeth done anywhere? He can do it anywhere. Look at this one. Now, who's this? Who's that? And who's this? Who are these cats? Who are these people? Who are they? Can you imagine? Yeah, well. Oh, well. I don't know, folks, but I just know that they look a little unique to me. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. They just look a little on the unique side. Look at all of the ads you get for nothing. For nothing. But let's just read it here. I tried to avoid this part with all of this. Looks like CNN Brian Stelter got the memo from the network's new owners about discussing facts, even when it relates to the once tabooed subject of Hunter Biden. The Reliable Sources host did a major 180 about the scandal-scarred son of President Joe Biden and the federal investigation related to emails found on Hunter's laptop during his show on Sunday. Hunter Biden may face charges as the federal criminal investigation continues into possible tax fraud, money laundering, as well as foreign lobbying crimes linked to his overseas business deals. Stelter, who had called the Hunter Biden leak and laptop a classic example of the right-wing media machine, broached the subject in an interview with Michael LaRosa, the former press secretary for First Lady Jill Biden. Quote, "What about his son?" Stelter asked his question. What about Hunter? Hunter, federal investigation. What about the investigation and the charges that can be coming at any time? It's not just a right-wing media story. This is a real problem for the Bidens. Stelter even suggested that the president could be forced to forego re-election in 2024 as a result. He says, quote, "I hope he runs. I know he's going to run. He's planning to run," LaRosa said. When the New York Post first broke the story of the news in 2020 that Hunter's laptop showed shady business activities and that his father, then vice president, was aware of it, Stelter called the news a manufactured scandal. Wow. Even 2 years and a verification of the authenticity of Hunter Biden's laptop by the New York Times and the Washington Post, Stelter did not offer a mea culpa. He did not. Nor did the media and the analysts probed the legacy publications, which had chosen not to cover the story in 2020. It says, quote, I think there is tension between big American newsrooms that want to check something out themselves, that don't want to rely on other outlets, that don't want to just repeat and regurgitate, but then there's an audience expectation of being able to instantly cover every story and have every answer, Stelter said in April during a panel discussion at the Disinformation and the Erosion of Democracy conference, according to Fox News. I'm so tired of hearing the term democracy. But to be candid with you, there's really not a lot that we can do about the term. This is me speaking. Okay. And the reason why there's not a lot that we can do about the term is because they've literally turned it into a democracy where you think, okay, they say it so long that it becomes, dribbles and dribbles, that we are a republic. I don't think we've been able to keep it. I think we've been infiltrated, as we all may know. Yeah. So whenever I see the whole democracy conversation, especially what we were talking earlier on Headlines with a Voice, we were talking about the chick, Cheney. There was like a lot of democracy conversations there too, right? There was a lot of democracy conversations in that. All right. And yeah, that's sort of, creepy. It's sort of creepy, but this is what they do. So let's just see. Let's just have a gander. Stelter continued, and so in September or October of 2020, when the New York Post has something or other outlets can match it, there's this pressure. Why aren't you confirming this? Why aren't you focusing on this? Why aren't you leading on this? Because we haven't matched it. We haven't confirmed it because they never wanted to confirm it. It goes on to say the anchor bizarrely chalked it up as up to a tension between fast and slow journalism instead. Yeah. And yeah, these do look like George Washington teeth. They look like wood. They look like the blonde part of the teeth. Like he just took the teeth, shaved them, whittled them down, stuck them in his mullet, and went out the first day. So he doesn't have the wood, the brown, because, when you look at the inside of a tree, depending on what tree it is, sometimes that tree may have a blonde or a light color. Well, that's what that looks like. But they're different. But how can you be that rich and you can't take care of your grill? If I had that kind of money, oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Huh? I'd be smiling for nothing. Be walking around. People be like, how you doing? It's a terrible day. Well, why are you smiling? I just thought I'd show you these pearly whites. I just thought I'd show you these buttes. I just thought I'd share these little pearly ditties with you. That's all. Just wanted to share them with you. That's all. Just wanted to get it in a little bit. Just wanted to get it in. Just get it in just a bit. That's all. Just a smidge. Okay. Be borrowed. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, just get it in just a bit. That's all. Just hello. Just hey, how's it going? Betty R, how you doing there? Huh? Well, you guys, I just wanted to bring those. Hunter eats too much chop suey. LOL. Hong Kong Phooey. Remember that? Rage Against the Machine. Look at that. Oh, wow. You guys are hilarious. At least the drags are encouraging. Wow. You're a mess. You are a mess. Okay, y'all. So we're about to go ahead on and get out of here, but I just thought that I'll bring you those two stories. You know what I mean? I just had to. Blessings to you, Be Borrowed. I just had to bring those stories. I mean, For those of you who did not get a chance to see it, please make sure that you go back and watch the replay. And for those of you who are here with us right now, do me a giant favor. It shows that there are 21 on this side. Will you please hit that like button for me? Like or dislike, it doesn't matter. As long as you interact and show YouTube that you had an interest and that you were here. That you were here. It's all that matters to me. It's all that matters to me. Sick. What's going on? What's going on, baby? Okay. Sick-a-ish broadcast. And I'm just sick-a-ish. Child, when I get done, you know I'll say ish. If I'm done and something is just overdid it, it's just overdone it and overdid it, that's it. All right, you folks. I want to tell you something, you sweet folks. I want to tell you something, you sweet folks. You listen to me, you sweet humans. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really, really honestly do. You guys just keep me going. You know what I mean? You keep me going. Now you want Chinese food, Daryl? Wait a minute. I wish I could show you guys this thing. There was, I don't know if you remember. I thought it was somewhere on YouTube where they were showing these free, vacuum sealed cats. Did you guys see that? Where the guy and the lady were like, what is that? That's a cat. Where is this? It's outside of the Chinese restaurant, and they were going up. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Ish-ism. Exactly. But if you guys didn't see that, I don't know whether you saw that or not. Yeah, but it was like, I appreciate you too, Joy Trujillo. You guys remember what we said earlier about these folks. Do not allow these people to be the people that, that everybody thinks of whenever they think of our Father in heaven. Because the truth about it was that this cat, the Missouri pastor that apologized after berating the cheap congregation for not buying him a designer watch, this guy's, he's probably not going to be around much longer. He's probably not. But the fact is that he's really, really done some damage to those little bitty churches that are out there that probably are still trying to do right. I believe that there's a lot of preachers out there that really do have a good heart and that probably don't need any, that aren't trying to lead anybody down the wrong path. But you guys continue to lift up your communities and your neighborhoods. Okay? Kids for Cash judges ordered to pay more than $200 million. What's that, Kids for Cash? What? Hold on. Okay, this was when? August 18th, today at 1:37. Kids for Cash judges ordered to pay more than $200 million. The now adult survivors will likely not see a fraction of the award money. What is this? Hold on. Have you guys heard of this? Let me show this to you. Give this to you. Okay. Let's see what it's talking about. You guys can see that now. The now adult survivors will likely not see a fraction of the money. 2 former Pennsylvania judges who orchestrated a scheme to send children to profit, to for-profit jails in exchange for kickbacks were ordered to pay more than $200 million to hundreds of people they victimized in one of the worst judicial scandals in United States history. The U.S. District Judge Christopher Connor awarded $106 million in compensatory damages and $100 million in punitive damages to nearly 300 people in a long-running civil suit against the judges. Writing, the plaintiffs are the tragic human casualties of a scandal of epic proportions. And what came to be known as the Kids for Cash scandal, Mark Civarelli and another judge, Michael Conahan, shut down a county-run juvenile detention center and accepted $2.8 million in illegal payments from the builder and the co-owner of 2 of the profit lockups. Civarelli, who presided over juvenile court, pushed a zero-tolerance policy that guaranteed large numbers of kids would be sent to Pennsylvania Child Care and its sister facility, Western Pennsylvania child care. So that's what happened. That's not cool. Let me let you guys see this. Do you see this? Huh. Have you guys heard of that? Civarelli ordered children as young as 8 years old to detention. Many of them first-time offenders deemed delinquent for petty theft, jaywalking, truancy, smoking on school grounds, and other minor infractions. The judge often ordered youths that he had found delinquent to be immediately shackled and handcuffed and taken away, without giving them a chance to put up a defense or even say goodbye to their families. Quote, Civarelli and Conahan abandoned their oath and breached the public trust, Connor wrote on Tuesday in his explanation of the judgment. Their cruel and despicable actions victimized a vulnerable population of young people, many of whom were suffering from emotional issues and mental health concerns, close quote. The cruel and despicable actions victimized a vulnerable population of young people, many of whom were suffering from emotional issues and mental health concerns, U.S. Judge Christopher Connor. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court threw out some 4,000 juvenile convictions involving more than 2,300 kids after the scheme was uncovered. It's unlikely the now adult victims will see even a fraction. It's unlikely that the now victims that are adults will even see a fraction of the eye-popping damage awards. But a lawyer for the plaintiff said that it's a recognition of the enormity of the disgraced judge's crimes. BS. Give them the money. I don't care about them having disgrace. They don't care about being disgraced. They did this to children. Civarelli. C-I-V-V. Civarelli is the cat's name. Yeah. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I could care two rips. They need to be done. More needs to be done than just money. This stuff is something that's a part of an even bigger issue here. You know, there was a situation that just took place in the state of Alabama where they just found out that the CPS was having part in children being trafficked. So we need to get to the bottom of all of this. We're not going to be quiet about this. This right here is what that is. This is part and parcel of that type of stuff. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court threw out some 4,000 juvenile convictions involving more than 2,300 children after the scheme was uncovered. It's unlikely the now adult victims will see even a fraction of the eye-popping damages awarded. But a lawyer for the plaintiff said it's a recognition of the enormity of the disgraced judge's crimes. Quote, it's a huge victory, says Marsha Livick, a co-founder and the chief counsel of the Philadelphia-based Juvenile Law Center and a lawyer for the plaintiffs, said on Wednesday, quote, to have an order from a federal court that recognizes the gravity of what the judges did to these children in the midst of some of the most critical years of their childhood and development matters enormously. Whether or not the money gets paid. No, the money matters. Do you know why? And this is what I do not like. I do not like situations that end up like this, because then I say, well, as long as they had to pay and as long as they had to do this and that. No, these people have been damaged. Who's taking care of these individuals? How many of these poor children have been knocking people upside the head, robbing and stealing? How many of these children have now become offenders themselves because of the trash that went on with them while they were incarcerated in these situations? How many people? How many of them? So no, you need to not only give these people their money, but you also need to make sure that you take these people and that you bind them up, that you take them and that you bind them up like the Good Samaritan did. When the Good Samaritan passed the man that was on the way, he picked him up and he bound him up and he took him and he got him basically a hotel or some type of extended stay. Hey, keep him here. Take care of him. I'm buying him up. I'm going to give you some money right now. And then when I come back, if there's anything left that I got to pay, I'm going to take care of you. But this right here is the stuff that goes on in America, because this is who this country is. This is the stuff right here. This is the stuff right here. Peddling babies and children and doing all kind of raggedy, nasty stuff to children. And then we wonder why we have such a messed up problem out here in these streets, where you got backpacks upon backpacks. As soon as the sun go down, all you see is backpacks pile up all over every major metropolitan city. These cats ain't the only ones. These was the cats that they sacrificed. These is the cats they sacrificed. That's who got caught. That's who got caught. These are people. These are children. Oh, they might not get the money. No, y'all better hunt them down and get the money. But ain't nobody gonna make that happen, right? Woe, United States. Woe unto you. Woe unto you. Woe unto you. Woe. Be not deceived, for Yah is not mocked. That which a man sows, he shall also reap. United States, you got it coming for you, baby. Want to tell you right now. I want to tell you right now, and it ain't gonna be the way folk think. They think it's gonna be something fall off and go over here. No. This is gonna be directly to the individuals who have done these harmful things. These are gonna be directly to the individuals who have led people astray, who have turned the other cheek and looked the other way while demonic things like this take place. Do not just think that these people took these kids and put them in some place and something just happened. No, they did terrible things to these children. Yeah, another plaintiff's attorney, Saul Weiss, said that he would begin a probe of the judge's assets, but did not think they had any money to pay a judgment. Who cares? Civarelli, is it Civarella, 72, is serving a 28-year prison sentence in Kentucky. His projected release date is 2035. Well, you know what? Why is he even still living? Handle the business here. Hello? You guys are the ones that went around and adopted no-hide law. Why is he still breathing? You guys adopted it. Now I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Y'all adopted it. You guys are the ones that adopted the no-hide law, right? Civarella and all of the other people that are, want to be these nice closed-up clandestine groups, right? We're going to exact our revenge on the people, but we're going to use this type of law on them. We're going to do no-hide, right? And then we're also going to do Sharia. That's how. No. Y'all wanted to bring it. You brought down the thunder. So go ahead on and give it to them. Why y'all playing? Yeah, I thought so. His projected release date is 2035. And yet, poor people of Kentucky are paying for this sack of flesh to continue inhaling and exhaling and inhaling and exhaling. Conahan, 70, was sentenced to more than 17 years in prison, but was released to home confinement in 2020 with 6 years left on his sentence because of the coronavirus pandemic. Well, it's over, right? At least that's what you're telling us. Stick him back in there. I'm not being mean. I'm being honest. Yeah, stick him back in there. Put him out there. Connor ruled after hearing often emotional testimony last year from 282 people who appeared in Luzerne County Juvenile Court between 2003 and 2008. Poor babies. 79 of whom were under the age of 13 when he sent them to the juvenile detention center, and 32 parents. They recounted his harsh and arbitrary nature, his disdain due process, his extraordinary abruptness, and his cavalier and boorish behavior in the courtroom, Connor wrote. An unidentified plaintiff is quoted as saying, "I feel I was just sold out for no reason. Like everybody just stood in line to be sold." Bless your heart, baby. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. One unnamed child victim testified that Civarella had ruined my life and just didn't let me get to my future. I feel I was just sold for no reason. like everybody just stood in line to be sold. Another victim described how he shook uncontrollably during a routine traffic stop. A consequence of the traumatizing impact of childhood detention, and had to show his mental health records in court to explain why my behavior was so erratic. Closed quote. Several of the childhood victims were a part of the lawsuit when it began in 2009 and have since died from overdoses or suicide, Connor said. To calculate compensatory damages, the judge decided each plaintiff was entitled to a base rate of $1,000 for each day of wrongful detention and adjusted that amount based on the circumstances of each case. Substantial punitive damages were warranted because the disgraced judges inflicted, quote, unspeakable physical and emotional trauma, close quote, on children and adolescents, Connor wrote. I thought y'all had Noahide law. Why they still breathing? I thought y'all liked Noahide. Why they breathing, yo? Why are they breathing? I just got that as a question. This is what they like, right? We just got through reading all the Noahide stuff. We just got through seeing what they believe. We just got through seeing in the state of Alabama where the even governor here, signed off on it. Everybody signed off on it. So how come they breathing? See, this is where I draw the line. Where you treat children and babies bad. Oh, but don't forget, what did the Father say? It is better for someone to tie a millstone about their neck and throw themselves into the sea than to harm one of his little ones. These babies, some of them have gone on to commit suicide. Some of them have gone on to have to use drugs. And this is Lord of mercy. The damages awarded only covered the plaintiffs who chose to participate in the process. Other major figures in the case settled years ago, including the builder and the owner of the private lockups and their companies, in payouts totaling $25 million, which ain't nothing when you compare what these poor children went through. They just damaged. Look at these dirty, no good dogs. Baby, just let us have a moment with them and just move out the way. Just let me talk to them. That's all y'all got. Just move. Why you blocking them? Why are you blocking them? Don't block them. Just move the cameras. Move out the way while you got a guard. Just y'all move out the way. Just move out the way. Just take a good long look at them. Take a long look at them. Move out the way. These are the type of cats that need people to protect them all the time. Bring back the stones. That's it, be borrowed. That's the ones. That's what I'm saying. They the ones that wanted to bring in this whole Noahide thing. That's what they did. They all want that, right? Okay, so go ahead on and exact it. Gotta understand why the people of Pennsylvania are even paying for this one cat and anybody else. I don't understand why y'all even allow these cats to they're exhaling again. They exhaling again. They breathing. Hello, somebody. They're at it again. Why are they still here? Yeah, that part. Dirty dogs. Exactly what they are. Dirty dogs. Yeah, Kay went ahead and signed it. I know. Just the other day, right? Are you talking about the one where, do you know what happened? Was it him? Is this the one where the guy was, they showed that that the time of death was like 8 hours or 6 hours after they started the execution, Rage Against the Machine? This poor man suffered. It was an incident when he was like, what, 14? Is that the same guy you're referring to, Rage? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. See, here's the thing. I don't believe in this type of. Okay, 3 years ago, did you see what just recently happened, Rage? What just recently happened, there was a guy who was 14 and he had done something that happened years ago. And this cat ended up suffering. He ended up, while they were giving him the lethal injection, it took like several hours. Apparently, they could not find a vein. And while they could not find the vein, this poor man, and I say poor because you know what, if you give him the death penalty, then make it quick. All right. But that didn't happen. This man continued on for hours in agony. And he was a 14-year-old at the time. So I don't know all the particulars, but here's what I do know. What I do know is the fact that there are so many different variables and so many different levels of lying and so many different levels of everything with this stuff that's going on right now, that it should be abolished altogether. You know why? Because we can never get the truth for anything. So if we can't get absolutes, except for in this situation, because it was proven that these folks had direct ties to what they did, that's a difference, right? But if you don't have that, anytime here's how I believe it should be. Anytime you're in a position of authority, like a judge or like a senator or like any of that, and you go out here and you just commit this kind of stuff, like, oh, you just, with impunity, you just do what you want to do, you got to go bye-bye right then. That should be the law. Because you're not going to exact the law on somebody and you're not even following the law yourself and you breaking the law. Oh no, you must go. You must go. You must go. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. If you get in a place of a position where you think, oh, I'm just going to get all kind of money because I'm going to help these people with their business and I'm going to get them all kind of children and I'm going to get them all kind of this or that and it's going to be X, Y, or Z. You right there, as soon as you do that, you out of here. There is no court. There is no we sit down and we talk. There is none of that. We don't do any of that. We don't have any time where they go to court, where they talk, where they chit chat with the clown. None of that. None of that. You feel me? None of that. You should not get nothing. You are a judge. You are all of the above. Then homeboy, homegirl, deuces. Right then. Why? Because you got a lot of nerve. You got a lot of nerve. That's exactly what needs to happen. You got a lot of nerve. And the courts, the public prosecutors, all of them could have stopped that execution, but didn't. Nope. The governor herself for this one that I was talking about just recently, I don't know if I can find that story because I just read it the other day and it just made my heart break because I was like, you know what? Okay, so this is how they decided that this, person that was 14, it was 14 at the time. Hold on, 14 at the time. It was a botch. What is it called? It was called a botched execution. And that was in Alabama. That was in Alabama just the other day. Okay. Is this it right here? Yeah, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I'm going to let you guys see this right here. All right. Here you go. Here you are. Autopsy reveals how Alabama botched Joe Nathan James's execution. Okay. Let me pull this, copy this, set it right here so you can see it. But I feel like once you get into that kind of situation, that should be it. So the autopsy reveals how Alabama botched Joe Nathan James' execution. Truth is engraved in his skin. Dead to rights, Alabama botched the execution. Okay. Is this the one? I'm trying to see. Lethal injections largely happen quite literally behind a curtain. Whatever It says, what observers do see looks vaguely surgical, but they don't look like a crime, like a war crime. This was Elizabeth Burrick from The Atlantic. And the, what is this? Okay. The Alabama prison horror story continues to add disturbing new chapters. According to a medical examiner who took part in Joe Nathan James's, oh, you guys can't see this. Hold on. Let me get it for you guys so you guys can see it, because it's really sad. It's sad that it happened, but I just honestly feel as if, if they're going to do this kind of stuff, I don't think that they should ever do it again. As long as we've got judges and stuff walking around like that, that's my trade-off right there. So let's get into this right here. We'll start it again, and then we'll go, you guys, because I know you guys got to go. And it's like twice today that we've been hanging out. It says, the autopsy reveals how Alabama botched Joe Nathan James's execution. The truth is engraved in his skin. Okay? Lethal injections largely happen, quite literally, behind a curtain. What observers do see looks vaguely surgical. What they don't see looks like a war crime, Elizabeth Burrick from The Atlantic said. The Alabama prison horror story continues to add disturbing new chapters. According to a medical examiner who took part in Joe Nathan James Jr.'s autopsy, the botched execution shows evidence that the Alabama DOC IV team, or the Dr. IV team, was unqualified for the task in a most dramatic way. Related, here is the Joe Nathan suffered a long death in a botched Alabama execution. That's what was in this particular story. All of these stories say that. From the Alabama.com story citing the Atlantic report, Alabama prison officials spent hours searching for a vein that could be used to deliver lethal drugs to in the execution of Nathan James on July 28th, according to a recent article by Elizabeth Burrick from The Atlantic. Burrick, attended an independent autopsy performed several days after James's death and found by the human rights group Reprieve US. Her detailed report is revealing, fascinating, and grisly. This is how this much is undisputed. This much is undisputed. So these are the particulars of the case. In 1994, Joe Nathan James Jr. murdered Faith Hall, a mother of two that he had formerly dated in 1999. He was sentenced to death in Jefferson County, Alabama, and he was executed on July 28, 2022. Whether James ought to have been killed was and is, by contrast, deeply disputed. Hall's family pleaded that their mercy should spare him, and the state government acted against their wishes. Also disputed in the matter of how exactly the Alabama Department of Corrections took James's life, or it was, in my mind at least, until I saw what they had done to him engraved in his skin. A little over a week ago, James's body lay on a bloody shroud draped over the exam table in an Alabama morgue scarcely large enough to accommodate the three men studying the corpse. He had been dead for several days, but there was still time to discover what exactly happened to him during the roughly 3-hour period it took in the Department of Corrections telling established access to a vein so an execution team could deliver the lethal injection of drugs that would kill him. Despite the long delay and an unnaturally short execution, the Department of Corrections had assured media witnesses gathered to observe James's death that nothing out of the ordinary had happened in the course of the killing of the 50-year-old. It was suspicion of that claim that led to this private autopsy. By the time I arrived at the morgue, where Joel Zivit, an associate professor of anesthesiology and surgery at Emory University and the lethal injection opponent, had argued to join a local independent pathologist named Boris Dadnow and his assistant, Jay Glass, James's body had undergone days of post-mortem swelling in cool storage. My initial impression of James was of someone whose hands and wrist had been burst by needles. In every place one could bend or flex. That and the carnage further up the arm told a radically different story, or a different tale, than the narrative offered by the Alabama Department of Corrections. Even to the naked eye, something terrible had been done to James while he was strapped to a gurney behind closed doors, without so much as a lawyer present to protest his treatment or an advocate to observe it. Yet, the state had insisted that nothing unusual had taken place. Approached for comment about the allegations contained in this article, the Department of Corrections officials declined to speak with me, she says. Obliterate disregard for genuine inquiries seemed to be the state's disposition where capital punishment is concerned. In the months prior to James's execution, Faith Hall's brother, Helvetus, and her two daughters, Terilyn and Tony, lobbied Governor Kay Ivey to spare the man's life, repeatedly stating that they had forgiven James and had no desire to see him killed. The Halls, like James, are black. Nevertheless, the execution, scheduled for 6 p.m., went ahead unhindered, with Ivey explaining her office's disregard for the victim's family wishes as a matter of principle. When members of the media who had been selected to witness James' execution arrived for their transport to the William C. Holman Correctional Facility death chamber, two female journalists, the Associated Press's Kim Chandler and Alabama.com's Evina Harkinu, were subjected to a dress code checks by the prison staff, who demanded that the young lady change from a skirt into a borrowed pair of men's fishing waders and sneakers before allowing her to proceed as a witness. By the time everyone was shod and appareled to the DOC specifications and loaded into a prison transport van, it was 6:33 p.m. And then the media witnesses reported they waited for hours. Prisoners on Holman's death row held up signs, a captive message from a captive audience, stating that the victim's family didn't want James dead. That this was a murder. Time passed, then more. Finally, around 9 p.m., roughly 3 hours after the scheduled execution time, media witnesses were led into the execution chamber. Before the injections began, the men I've seen die have spoken at least briefly of love and regret. But James neither responded to his death warrant nor gave any last words, not even a refusal to offer a final statement, per Kim Chandler. In fact, witnesses, including Chandler and Hiraku, reported that James's eyes stayed closed during the entire procedure, flickering only in his death throes, and that he remained unresponsive from the beginning to the end. His death warrant was read at 9:03 p.m., and the lethal drugs began to flow at 9:04. He was declared dead finally at 9:27. What happened to James during the 3-hour interval between the scheduled execution and his time of death, and why he was apparently unconscious in the execution chamber. Jim Ransom, the last of many defense attorneys to represent James, was especially disturbed when he heard that his client had responded to the warden's prompt to offer his last words that set up red flags. It did not ring true. Ransom told me the night of the autopsy, quote, "Joe always had something to say, but somehow during the 3.5-hour delay, James had transformed from a devout Muslim and dedicated jailhouse lawyer who, in Ransom's telling, wanted to fight him to the very last minute, into someone mute and absent, with neither an apology for his victim, the victim's family, nor an utterance of gratitude for their efforts to save his life." Maya Foya, an executive director at Reprieve USA, agreed that an independent autopsy ought to happen quickly. Lethal injection was developed to mask the torture it inflicts. She explained over a text message. And when a prisoner is executed in secret, the only person who can tell the world what really happened is dead. We've seen time and time again states suppressing or delaying autopsies, resulting in following executions that appear to have gone disastrously wrong. Zivit, upon examining the body, agreed that the incision carved into James's arm was most likely made in the death chamber in an attempt to expose a vein that the execution staff could see. The medical term for the procedure is cut down, and its aftermath dismayed Zivit. The use of a cut down in this situation is a stark departure from what would be done in a medical setting, he explained in an email. In a medical setting, ultrasound has virtually eliminated the need for a cut down, and the fact that a cut down was utilized here is further evidence that the IV team was unqualified for the task in a most dramatic way. The details of the torture inflicted on Joe James are tragic, but unfortunately no surprise to anyone who has had a client executed in Alabama with lethal injection. This comes from John Palombi. An assistant federal defender told me in an email, the author of this portion says, adding to the torture is the refusal of the Alabama Department of Corrections to admit or accurately discuss the issue with Mr. James's execution. There should be an immediate moratorium on all executions in the state of Alabama until a thorough investigation of Alabama's execution process done by people outside of the Department of Corrections is complete. Megan McCracken, a lawyer based in Philadelphia with expertise in execution methods, told the author of this piece in an email, quote, "It is only because of the lack of transparency surrounding executions in Alabama that the DOC was able to spend such a long time on a failed IV access attempts. If this process had been performed openly in front of witnesses, such that anyone outside the DOC knew what was happening at the time, the attempts likely would have been stopped. It is hard to imagine that the courts would countenance this kind of harrowing procedure, but when the DOC can shield their actions and make them invisible to the public, there's no accountability. I spoke to the prisoners," the author says, "on Holman's death row who had known James, spent some time those long years with him, seen him age and change into an older, different man, a committed Muslim who prayed regularly and devoted much of his time to studiously pursuing his own defense, not just for his own purpose, but for the sake of his friends on the row." Now, I'm not going to read the rest. There's just like a little bit left, right? But I do want to say this. This is the reason why I believe that if they can't get it right, if they cannot get it right, then they don't need to do this at all. And I also believe that as long as there are people, this is the major piece for me, that as long as there are people like those two judges and the people that are working with them that think that they are above the law, that don't get the death penalty, then they should never give another human being the death penalty until you start taking out these cats that are wrong from Jump Street. Now, somebody might say that I'm crazy or that I'm not, right, or that I should understand that, that the law is the law and that if an eye is an eye, I get all of that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that any of those children in Pennsylvania prior to this story deserve what happened to them? For them to go on to commit self-deletion? For them to go on and for them to end up in prison? For them to shake uncontrollably when a police officer pulls them over as an adult and they've done nothing wrong, but because they have had this happen to them, they are shaking completely, and now the police can say, "Oh my goodness, well, I think that they're guilty of something because look at how they're acting." No, if y'all can't get it right, you should not even have the opportunity to do this, and shame on Alabama. Shame on Alabama. Shame on KIV. Shame on you, you dirty scoundrel. That's terrible. It is terrible that she would actually hear these people say, "We're good. We're giving it to God. We're good." That stuff right there. This is the stuff right there. You see? That's how I feel. I feel as long as you got people who are in government, okay, that are in government, that are doing this and behaving this way and cutting up the way that they are, don't you put another person on death row. Now, when you got these Bamas out here doing this stuff, now when you got these cats out here doing this kind of stuff with these children, all of those people giving up the amount of money to, well, he ain't gonna be able to give up no money because he's in prison now. Why is he still breathing? You guys the one that like Noahide law. Why he breathing? That's my point. That is my point. But you see, it's not fair. And it's not equitable. That's the reason why they don't need to do anything with any lethal injections or any of that stuff. That's the reason why, because it's not done fair and it's not done in an equitable fashion at all. It's not fair. It's not equitable. It's not right. The way that they're doing everything is wrong. So none of them, if y'all don't go to jail and don't go to prison and don't hang for nothing, and nobody else should either. Put them away if you're going to put them away, but you better not put them nowhere near a chair or a needle. Period. But B. Barrow just said it. Righteous judgment is coming, baby. You see? And you know, Maureen, that's exactly right. It should have been quick. But see, that's what the lady is saying in this article that's writing the article. And bless her heart. Cover her, Father, because she did not have to, she could have just left the story alone. Listen, this lady could have left the story alone, you guys, but she didn't. She pushed the story. She told the story. She had to tell the story. And God bless her. Yah bless her for telling the story. That's her point. That when they do not have anybody that makes them accountable, what ends up happening is people have 3 hours and 4 hours in between the time that they call the IV team in and the person's, passing. So bless her with protection. Keep her, your angels charged and covering this woman. Whether she's a believer or not is of no consequence. She's doing a noble thing. She's doing a noble thing. She has compassion. And I also ask right now, and I decree that the governor in this state of Alabama that knew what was wrong and didn't put her hand to it will be held accountable. I decree that because I can. Because I know whose authority I walk in. You will be accountable, madam. Yeah, you will. You'll be accountable. Trust and believe. Doesn't matter. This is a human being. The details of the torture inflicted on Joe James are tragic, but unfortunately no surprise to anyone who has had a client executed in Alabama with lethal injection. Joe Palombi, an assistant federal defender, told the author in an email, adding to the torture is the refusal of Alabama Department of Corrections to admit it or accurately discuss the issue of Mr. James's execution. There should be an immediate moratorium on all executions. I agree. Yes, until they get it together. Megan McCracken, a lawyer based in Philadelphia with expertise in execution methods, told the author of this document here, of this article, it was only because of the lack of transparency surrounding executions in Alabama that the DOC was able to spend such a long time on a failed IV access attempts. If this process had been performed openly in front of witnesses, that anyone outside the DOC knew what was happening, then the attempts likely would have stopped. She goes on to say, I spoke with 2 prisoners who had known him, who had spent long time with him. They seen him age. They said that he was a different man, a committed Muslim who prayed regularly and devoted much of his time to studiously pursuing his own defense, not just for his own purpose, but for the sake of those on the road. One of them told me that James had planned 3 items for his final words: to apologize to his mother and his daughters, to apologize to the Hall family, and prayed the Shahada. My goodness, the Muslim profession of faith. He felt grateful for the family's advocacy on his behalf, I should say, and even startled by the abruptly unilaterality of forgiveness. But he trusted it, and he appreciated it, and he needed it. James still hadn't chose the exact words he meant to say, the second prisoner told me. The mind revolts at such closely considered finalities, and James had more reason than most to hope for mercy. Somewhere deep inside, he believed the Hall's forgiveness had saved him. And that's that. But that's the reason why I feel the way that I do when you consider the death penalty. Because as long as we can point to people out here who are doing heinous things, such as those judges who put 8-year-olds away simply to fund a business and to peddle these children and to torture these children, there was no reason for them to even be alive. Why are they alive? And this man is dead. Do you understand the difference between what I'm saying and what I'm not saying? What I'm saying is, if this is a method whereby they judge someone or they give someone a sentence, although there are differences in state to state, each state does have its own differences. Those children were tortured. This man was tortured. But yet, if you juxtapose this situation to what he did, which was terrible, and you juxtapose what happened with the judges deserve death. And since the judges in the United States really does like Noahide, then the judges should receive the way to Noahide get down. That's that. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for being with me for the past couple of hours. I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank each and every one of you for hitting that like button, that like bell down there. That like button. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, please double check that you are subscribed, because apparently sometimes it comes undone. So double check that you are subscribed and double check that you do get your notifications, that the notification bell is hit. Okay? And I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and hanging out while we looked at some of these conversations and some of these talks and some of this stuff. That's right. Rest in peace to the innocent lives that was lost. Those poor children. You consider what they showed, that some of those folks, either self-deletion. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh my goodness. Starfire Horizon. She has one of the best sense of humor. She says, has anyone noticed in the last few weeks that Sean Hannity has been looking like Grandpa Monster? Look at his mouth, then his face, all at once. And you'll see it. His lips are super dark on the inside. Be Borrowed. Thank you so much, precious one, for being here. Okay. And we got a couple of more stories, you guys. Let's see what we're talking about here. Let's talk about what we got coming up. So tomorrow, all right, so we're here now. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time, is it easier to walk away or stay in an abusive marriage? Isn't that a crossed up question? But that's the question. Is it easier to walk away or stay in an abusive marriage? I think we already know the answer to that. We're going to talk about it. And then the evening of Saturday, when the sun is down, we are having a conversation about the Houston CPS that encouraged a young lady to go into a life of self-selling in Houston. Yeah, she did that. And then we're also going to look at on this coming Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, we're going to talk about sleep deprivation, the cousin of death, sleep deprivation. You know, there's a lot to be said about the moon. There is a lot to be said about the moon. Did you know, just as a little quick teaser to Sunday's show, did you know that 90 minutes after the sun goes down, your head should be on the pillow and you should be sleeping, because there are specific hormones that Yah put in your body to be released all the way till after midnight? That there's like a timetable. I didn't know this. But there are actual hormones that the body is supposed to secrete. 90 minutes after that sun goes down, your head needs to be on a pillow. You need to be going to sleep. You need to be going to sleep. Oh, here we go. Wait a minute. Marty says, thank you, Felicia, for speaking up on difficult subjects, for showing these injustices. God bless you, dear sister. I love you so much, Marty. My armor bearer team, you, Sandy, Rachel, Joy, my Sandy. Fifi asking for my son leaves for college today. If no more problems. He had a dental emergency this AM, swelling. Oh, who isn't it? Okay. Most High, just bless this baby. Don't even let him feel it, Father. We know how root canals can feel, but oh, you know what, Father? I remember that one time I had oral surgery and you didn't even let me feel it. Like the day after, I didn't even feel it. So, Father, do the same for this baby. Don't even let him feel it. Let his goodness and his kindness be counted toward him, where he doesn't have any suffering at all. You handle all of this. Remove everything, Father. 4 at one time. Oh, help him, Father. Thank you for touching him. Thank you for him having a good mama. Do it for mama. How about that? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glory. Hallelujah. But these are the things that we have to do, you guys. These are the things. So when you guys talk about that, when you think about that, you put here circadian rhythm. So there's that, your circadian rhythm. It's all the natural stuff that Yah put into us, and that's the reason why our sleep has been attacked. So you guys, that's the reason why I could start a live at 3 a.m. and a whole bunch of people will pop up, because we all jacked. But we're going to look into it on Sunday. So I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you so very much for having been here with us this afternoon. Remember what we always say on any Felicia Lockhart Group publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of the Most High Yah. You guys, do me a big favor and take care of yourselves first. Take care of yourself first. You see what's going on right now, right? And then I want you to turn around and take care of somebody else. And then until we see one another again, I want to ask that you continue to be blessed. Until we see one another again, stay strong.
To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day.